SpaceX! They're like the daredevils of space travel, always pushing the limits. This time it was their giant Starship rocket, trying to reach for the stars. Things started off with a bang, literally. On March 6, 2025, Starship Flight 8 roared into the sky from their starbase in Texas. The crowd went wild. The first part went great. The Super Heavy booster, the bottom part with all the engines, did its job. It even landed back on the launch pad like a boss. But then, things got a little too exciting. Less than 10 minutes into the flight, high above the Earth, Starship decided to put on an impromptu fireworks show. It wasn't planned, and it definitely wasn't part of the mission. Yep, Starship went boom! People all the way in Florida and even the Caribbean could see the explosion. Talk about a showstopper! The aftermath of the explosion was a bit messy. Pieces of the rocket came raining down, causing some headaches for air traffic control. The FAA had to put a halt to flights in and out of several airports in Florida. Safety first, right? It wasn't exactly the smooth sailing SpaceX was hoping for. This wasn't even the first time Starship decided to go out with a bang. Remember back in January, same story, different day? Starship Flight 7 also went kaput mid-flight, scattering debris all over the Turks and Caicos Islands. People are still finding pieces of that rocket. Please like and subscribe to the US Trend Waiver. So what went wrong this time? Well, it seems like Starship has a bit of a history of repeating itself. Just like in January, Flight 8 decided to call it quits at almost the exact same point in the flight. It's enough to make you think Starship has a serious case of stage fright. The FAA, the folks who make sure things fly safely, weren't too thrilled about this second explosion. They're like the strict teachers of the skies. They'd already grounded Starship after the January incident and were in the middle of an investigation. They eventually gave SpaceX the green light for Flight 8, but you can bet they're back to asking some tough questions. Now, you might think that after 2 explosions, SpaceX would be freaking out, but these guys are a different breed. They're all about embracing the go big or go home mentality. They even have a fancy name for it: rapid iterative development. Basically, it means they'd rather try, fail, learn and try again, all at lightning speed. After Flight 8 went boom, SpaceX was quick to point out that, hey, at least the explosion happened in a designated area. They said it was all part of the plan, sort of. They claim they learned a ton from the explosion and that it will help them make Starship even better. They're like that friend who always sees the bright side, even when things are literally blowing up around them. But it wasn't just blind optimism. SpaceX did actually make a bunch of changes to Starship after the January explosion. They added new vents, tweaked the fuel lines, and even gave the booster a brain upgrade with a more powerful flight computer. They were determined to make Flight 8 a success, but it seems like Starship had other plans. Section 4. Trial by Fire. The SpaceX Way. SpaceX's whole approach to space travel is pretty different from the way things have always been done. They're not afraid to take risks, and they're not afraid to blow things up in the process. It's all part of their grand plan to get humans to Mars and beyond, but not everyone is on board with SpaceX's blow it up until it works philosophy. Some people are starting to get a little nervous about these giant rockets exploding over their heads. They're questioning whether the FAA is being too lenient with SpaceX and whether these launches are putting people at risk. Section 5. What's next for Starship? So, what does the future hold for SpaceX and their explosive Starship? Well, one thing's for sure, they're not giving up. They're already hard at work figuring out what went wrong and how to fix it for the next flight. They're like the little engine that could, except instead of chugging along, they're launching giant rockets into space. The FAA investigation will definitely play a big role in Starship's future. Will they give SpaceX the green light to keep launching, or will they slam on the brakes? Only time will tell. One thing's for sure, the world is watching. SpaceX has captured our imaginations with their bold vision for the future of space travel. But they're also walking a fine line between innovation and risk. Let's just hope their next launch is a little less explosive.